Imagine this. Thousands of years ago, on a freezing night deep inside an endless forest, deadly predators surrounded you from every direction. Humans had no homes, no weapons, no light, and no fire. Every night was a battle for survival. Then, everything changed. One discovery transformed the future of humanity forever. That discovery was fire. But here's the biggest question. There were no matches, no lighters, no modern technology. So how did ancient humans first gain control over fire? Did they create it themselves? Or did they first learn to preserve the fire that nature had already made? Today, we're traveling thousands of years back in time to uncover one of the greatest discoveries in human history. Around 1 million years ago, Earth looked nothing like it does today. There were no cities, no roads, no farms, and no civilization. Only vast forests, towering mountains, and endless grasslands. Humans were not the rulers of this world. More often than not, they were the prey. As the sun disappeared below the horizon, the true rulers of the night emerged. Lions, hyenas, wolves, and countless other predators. Humans searched for safety inside caves, beneath rocky cliffs, or high in the trees. Yet nowhere was completely safe. The freezing cold was just as dangerous as the animals. Without warmth, the human body slowly lost heat throughout the night. Simply surviving until sunrise was a victory. But humans possessed one extraordinary advantage: the ability to think and to learn. They carefully observed nature, which animals feared one another, which trees were strongest, and how the seasons changed. They had no idea that nature was about to reveal a secret that would change the course of human history forever. One day, nature revealed something unlike anything humans had ever seen. Dark clouds filled the sky. Powerful winds swept across the land. Then, a massive bolt of lightning struck a dry tree. Within seconds, the tree burst into flames. Slowly, the fire spread across the forest. Panic erupted everywhere. Deer ran for their lives. Wild horses fled across the open plains. Even lions and wolves escaped from the flames. From a safe distance, a small group of humans watched in silence. For the first time, they realized that there was one force on Earth that even the deadliest predators feared. As the wildfire slowly died down, several large branches continued burning. Perhaps this was the moment when history changed forever. One brave human carefully approached a burning branch. He picked it up and carried it back toward the cave. That night, for the first time, fire burned outside their shelter. Its light pushed back the darkness. Its warmth fought the freezing cold. And most importantly, no predator dared come near the cave. But a new problem remained. Humans could use fire, yet they still couldn't create it. If the flame disappeared, they would have to wait for another lightning strike or another wildfire. So, they protected it day and night. They gathered dry wood. They learned to preserve glowing embers beneath the ashes. Little by little, fire became the most valuable thing they possessed. Then one day, a powerful storm changed everything. Heavy rain extinguished every last flame. By morning, even the final ember had gone cold. Their greatest advantage had disappeared overnight. But giving up was never part of human nature. Instead, that loss would lead them to their next great discovery. The last flame was gone. The rain had extinguished everything. The dark nights returned. The freezing cold came back, and deadly predators once again ruled the wilderness. But this time, humans made a decision. They would no longer depend on nature. They would learn to make fire themselves. They began studying everything that could create a spark. They noticed that striking two hard stones together sometimes produced tiny flashes of light. They also discovered that rubbing dry wood together created heat. Days turned into weeks. Hundreds of attempts failed. Then thousands more. Again and again. Nothing happened. But humans refused to give up. Then, one day, a thin stream of smoke rose from a bundle of dry grass. Everyone froze. Seconds later, a tiny flame appeared. History had changed forever. For the first time, Humans had created fire with their own hands. They no longer had to wait for lightning. They could make fire whenever they needed it. From that moment, human life entered a new era. Cooked food became safer to eat, easier to digest, and provided more usable energy. Fire allowed people to survive in colder regions. The night was no longer just a time of fear. It became a time for learning. Families gathered around the flames. Elders taught children how to hunt, how to survive, and how to pass knowledge to the next generation. Over time, small groups grew into larger communities. Fire didn't just provide warmth. It brought people together. Today, every kitchen stove, every factory furnace, every power plant, and every rocket launched into space can trace its origins back to that very first flame. So the next time you watch the glow of a candle or sit beside a campfire, remember, you're not just looking at fire, you're looking at the discovery that helped transform humans into the most intelligent and influential species on Earth. And that's the incredible story of how mastering fire changed the future of humanity forever.